Well, hello there, this is Extroder. From this, we are going to start the full guide to focus on yourself. This is a book written by C.M. Sutter. I will read the book without any changes. Let's get started. Chapter 1. It had already been a long Thursday morning, but we'd finally made it to the lunch hour. Our 3 interrogations with gangster wannabes and their smart-mouthed public defenders had been tiring, and we'd only just begun. Last night during a 2-car drive-by shooting, 4 young men between the ages of 18 and 22 were gunned down on the sidewalk in front of their apartment building. They were needless deaths, but only in the eyes of the law. We still had 3 more people to interview. As usual, the first to cough up the truth and name the actual shooter or shooters would get the best deal. Otherwise, they would all go down for murder. Luckily, patrol had been doing their rounds of that neighborhood and heard the shots being fired. The perps were apprehended within minutes, and their guns were still hot from the rapid fire. We literally had them dead to rights. With an exhausted sigh, I dropped down at the cafeteria table in our Habersham Street precinct after grabbing my lunch from the refrigerator. Rue was taking up the rear and said something about forgetting the unopened soda on his desk. As I ate my chicken salad sandwich, I pulled the invitation from my lunch bag and read it for the 15th time. I wasn't sure if I wanted to attend the event or not, yet the Mies sage promised a night of good deeds and unparalleled excitement, one the attendees would certainly never forget. "Whatcha got there, Cannon?" Devin asked. I looked over my right shoulder as he scooted in next to me on the long bench and settled in with his soda and a Greek yogurt. I frowned at his lunch choice. "Are you bipolar or something? What is that supposed to mean?" I made my point using my hands as scales. "On my left hand here is your high-calorie, rot your teeth, sugary soda, and on my right hand is a cup of healthy, delicious Greek yogurt. Notice how my left hand gets lower and lower and my right hand goes higher." Yep, great visual aids. My point is, that heavy unhealthy soda is weighing down the good you're doing by eating yogurt. But I like them both equally. I groaned. "Why not diet soda, then?" Rue shook his head and popped the tab on the soda can. He smiled as it hissed. "Diet soda tastes like shit. Anyway, whatcha looking at?" I smacked the trifold invitation on the table, then slid it toward him. "It's an invitation to a scavenger hunt that's supposedly happening Saturday night at a place yet to be determined." "Sounds like fun. Who arranged that?" "Not sure who arranged it, but the invite came from a young lady I recently met." Rue raised his right brow. "Really? How long were you going to keep me in the dark about that?" I flicked a breadcrumb, and it landed on the next table. "It's nothing serious. Actually, I've only known her for a little over a week. Met her at Aliodo's Friday night when I stopped in for a beer. Guess she gets into those extreme games, sports, and contests. A non-stop kind of gal, so she says." I shrugged. "We'll see." I chuckled. "I've never participated in a scavenger hunt in my life, and at damn near 40, I never thought I'd join in on one now. Hell, I'd do it no different than hunting for clues to a crime." "True enough, but I may have to bail anyway." I rapped my fingers on the table. "There's a good chance we'll have another murder on our hands by then." Rue huffed. "That much, we can count on." I glanced at the wall clock. "Slurp down that yogurt. We still have 3 more tough guys to interrogate today. I'm thinking it's going to be a long afternoon." I wasn't about to tell Devin why I wanted to get those interrogations underway and out of the way. That night, I had a date with Liza, my new friend, and I wanted to leave the precinct on time, 6 o'clock. I wasn't sure if calling it a date was accurate. We were meeting to eat, which most people did every night anyway, and have drinks, which many people also enjoyed. Routinely, eating dinner was something I would do regardless, and there was no harm in enjoying the company of a fun-loving lady while I ate. I chuckled at my own stupidity. "It's a date, idiot. Just own it and have fun." I elbowed Rue and grabbed my lunch bag. "Let's go, those interviews aren't going to conduct themselves." Later, after hours of questioning suspects, we finally ended our day. They would all be held responsible for the 4 murders since none of them would tell us the truth. So be it. After a jury's decision, they would spend the rest of their lives behind bars. The night crew had taken over an hour ago, and Rue and I finally walked out the door at 6:30, a half hour later than I would have liked. I still needed to go home, tend to Gus, then shower and change before meeting Liza at Stubby's, a well-known sports bar in the historic district, at 8 o'clock. Luckily, I lived only 6 minutes south of the station. From my house, Stubby's was a short 10-minute drive north via Montgomery, then a quick right on West Congress. I hadn't spoken with Liza for a few days, but I'd sent a text asking if we were still on for that night. She'd responded with a yes and a smiling emoji. I didn't know much about her, but I hoped to learn more. She was an intriguing black-haired beauty with olive-green eyes. She wasn't lacking in the looks department, which was obvious from the head snaps I noticed her getting at Alioto's last week. Why she'd chosen to cozy up on a barstool next to me was a mystery, but I wasn't complaining. I couldn't remember the last time I had been on a date, which was pathetic in its own right, but I had my reasons. I'd seen far too many relationships and marriages fall apart since officers and detectives were put in dangerous situations nearly every day of their lives. On top of that, the long hours didn't help. I'd always felt I was doing the right thing by choosing my career over a wife and family. I doubted that Liza was the type who was looking for a serious relationship. From the little I knew of her, she appeared to enjoy a spontaneous, carefree lifestyle and wasn't searching for anything that might upset the apple cart. Not the worst woman to date now and then. No expectations and no commitments. After turning down a beer with Rue, I said goodnight to him, explaining that the day of interrogations had given me a headache. "You sure?" "Yeah, I'll catch you in the morning. How about tomorrow night if you don't have anything else going on?" "That sounds good. Then I'll see you in the morning, buddy." I climbed into my Corvette and headed south on Habersham. I felt like a jerk for lying to my partner and best friend, but I didn't want to make a big deal out of nothing. It was just a light dinner and drinks.